I'm Rabbi Dan Cohen of Temple Sharey, Tefilo-Israel, and the Parsha, the Torah portion for this week, is Parshat Korach from the book of Numbers. In it, Korach and his followers rebel against the leadership of Moses and Aaron. It's a rebellion that ultimately is put down, and Korach and his followers pay the ultimate price. When Korach first approaches Moses to challenge his leadership, he says the following. He says, Rav lechem, enough already, or usually translated, you've gone too far. Ki chol ha'ida kulam kiroshim, because the entirety of the community is holy. Uvetocham Adonai, and God is in their midst. Umadua titnaseh al kahal Adonai, why then have you raised yourselves up over the Lord's congregation? Korach isn't incorrect when he says this. He's right, the entirety of the community are holy. We're called upon to be an am segula, to be a precious or a special or a chosen people. We're told that we're to be an or legoyim, a light unto the nations. And we're told at the very beginning of the Torah that each of us is created b'tselem Elohim. Each of us is created in the divine image. So as a result, we are each holy. And our community is a community that understands that God's presence is surrounding and within and among us at all times. It was, in fact, the Kotzker Rabbi who was asked, where do you find God? And he answered, depending upon the translation, either wherever or whenever you let God in. So God's presence is always around us. And Korach challenges Moses by saying that this is the case. So what is the transgression that Korach and his followers commit? There are a number of suggestions offered throughout our tradition, but two of them offer the following. The first comes from Rabbi Tzvi Hirsch Kalischer, and he says, the Torah uses the verb took in the singular and not the plural, in order to teach us that each of those who opposed Moses, Korach and each of his followers, did so on his own. Each had his own personal reasons for rebelling. Another commentary says, what is the source of the dispute between Korach and Moses? Moses gave a hint at this when he stated, do you then want the priesthood? All that Korach wanted was the prestige of being a priest and not the attendant duties and responsibility. From these teachings, we learn that Korach and Moses represent two very different styles of leadership in general and Jewish leadership in particular. There are those leaders who think that they are above the community. They see leadership as an opportunity to enrich themselves, either through power or through money or through both. And then there are those leaders who understand that leadership isn't about them as individuals, but rather leadership is about the responsibility to do what is best for the entirety of the community. From the beginning, this was the type of leadership that Moses showed. He didn't want the job in the first place, but took the job because God insisted, and then he was selfless in his approach. He looked to do whatever he could for the entirety of the community. Whereas Korach actually challenges Moses with a criticism that Moses is placing himself above and separate from the community, when in fact that's the kind of leadership that Korach wanted to show. He and his followers were there for their own benefit as individuals. They were there to enrich themselves with power, with money, with whatever comes with leadership. And in so doing, he showed that he was not ready, he was not appropriate for leadership. The rebellion is put down, and Moses returns to his leadership of the community until his last dying day. Shabbat Shalom.